Hey everybody.
Hello again.
Okay, so we're here on another beautiful Thursday. Unless this comes out on a different day because we decide to put it out on a different day.
Should we do that? Should we like mess with people?
If I don't know if we should mess with people, but I say every now and then, if we got like extra drops or something, 2 in a week, like on a Monday and a Thursday. What do you think? You know what's weird about our podcast, and maybe I should drop them on a Friday or Saturday, is we don't get very many views on Thursday. And we seem to get a lot over the weekend.
People got more free time.
Yeah, that must be it. And I'm wondering if I should drop it a day later.
Maybe.
See
then
what
it's
happens.
Like, it's fresh. Let's try it out.
Yeah.
See what happens. Sorry, guys, you're going to wait an extra day.
Uh-oh. But if we do 2 drops, it won't be that bad. I'm not, there's no promises there.
Don't hold us to anything. This isn't lending, this is a podcast. We can do what we want.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is really just for fun. And it is a lot of fun. I actually enjoy just the conversing, and actually there's some education in there too. We get to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
That, it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's right.
Things that people don't expect sometimes, get some life lessons, some philosophy.
Yeah.
Be a buffalo, not a cow.
Yeah, that was a big one. I think that actually saw like 2 episodes, I think it was carried on from one to the next one.
Yeah.
And it's impressive how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Something so stupid, it just carries on.
Yeah.
And now it's in 3 episodes.
Oh, it's going to be a theme. We should track metrics, and we need a team for it. But somebody should track metrics. How many times we talk about this? How many times we talk about that? It'd be fun.
How
after
many
like a year.
times
How many
Trent
times
says the word cow?
Yeah. How many times those cow versus buffalo come up again?
The only one I don't want you guys to track is how many times I say like and honestly. Those 2 words.
Unless you want it to be a drinking game.
You'll be drunk in the first couple minutes. I thought about running this through my system to get out all the filler words, the likes, the uhs, and I was like, no, I need to learn how to speak better.
Right.
Like, why use a handicap every single time, when you should just fix your problem? It's kind of like people that golf and they're like, okay, I hook the ball every single time, so now I'm going to face this way. And now I'll just hook it and it'll land on the... And it's like, you didn't fix your problem because it's still... The hook is preventing you from driving distance and controlling the ball.
Yeah.
So instead of just adjusting your slice or whatever, or your hook, just try to solve what your problem is. Are you not driving through? Are you leaving an open face? Are you driving through too much? Yep. I have a tendency, because I like to... I think everything, I try to kill the ball. So baseball, I was trying to kill the ball. Golf, so I fall backwards. And I notice that if I don't try to swing hard, but I swing fast, like casual, but quick, and I follow through, and I'm, then I'm, it's great.
Yeah. But
man, I get into these rhythms where I'm just like, it's like a contest. I think everything's a contest with me. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I think that the biggest thing too is like there's consistency is key. And
that's true.
Doing it consistently. I know like there's a bunch of like, older guys who still golf and their like backs are just done, but they still go straight where the ball needs to go. And it's all arms and,
Some of it is adjusting to just your abilities, what you have available. I noticed when I was younger, I went through this phase where, when I was in high school, I had a junior pass, so I'd go every day during the summer, and it was a lot of fun, and I practically lived on the golf course those years. And then a couple years after, I did quite a bit too. But by the time I was about 22, I was really into powerlifting and bodybuilding. Bodybuilding a little bit later than that, but as I started to bulk up, I had the hardest time swinging.
Oh, okay.
Like there's in golf, and I know like as Tiger Woods bulked up, he got more distance, but it really restricted mainly like across my chest and stuff.
The way you're really able to.
Yeah. And I was having a hard time turning over in time. And so anyways, I noticed that was like actually a detriment to me. And plus, like the stronger I got, I'm thinking, oh, I should just be able to kill the ball.
Smack it harder.
Yeah. It's not how it works.
No.
It's not how it works. It's a leverage game. So, yeah. But how'd we get on golf anyways?
I think it.
It was an example of something. Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll figure it out.
Doesn't matter,
Good thing this is being recorded. We just go back and figure it out.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I through this podcast, it's created a lot of humility.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I watch myself and I'm like, gosh, like I like watching podcasts, so I listen to people talk all the time, and they are people that are really good at talking, and I'm not. I think I'm entertaining though. Like
that's how it got on there. We were talking about like the slicing and you correcting. You're like, oh, I need to correct my speech.
Correct my speech
instead of editing out.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, I do need to work on that though, because I think it comes across that way when I just talk normally too. Yeah,
I do it too. My wife is like, do you know how many times you said like during that conversation? I'm like, how many times?
You could just see her counting in her head. You're like talking to her and she's just counting.
Yes. Yeah, it's just adding it up. I think that there's this thing that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to end out of breath.
Yes.
At the end, so then you don't have space for filler words. You need to use all of your breath to speak the words that you intend to speak, and it's supposed to be breathing out more at the end of the sentence. It's supposed to help with that.
Yeah, my pastor said something too. He's like, I just said he's like, but he said that
if you are more intentional about your pauses, you won't use filler words.
He said people get uncomfortable using pauses, and so they use filler words to keep it going, and it kind of made sense to me. I was like, maybe I need to be more intentional with my pauses. Who thinks about their speech when they're talking? I'm too busy yelling at people to worry about what I'm saying.
I don't know the words coming out of my mouth. It's supposed for people that interpret it. You figure this out. You tell me what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I tell my pastor, I'm like, I feel like I'm a good person until I get behind the wheel. And then I lose my religion. I'm just like, there's too many cars. They're doing crazy things. I like consistency. I would prefer to just put the cruise control on and go. I don't need to go super fast. I don't want to go slow. I don't want to be stop go. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I just want to cruise. Mm-hmm. That's why I really like the Teslas. Not necessarily that I'm an electric vehicle, but I like the auto drive.
The auto drive?
I like the technology. I think it's going to be very beneficial for the future.
Yeah? A little bit of iRobot though, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
That'd be kind of fun. I like that aspect of it.
If you look at Elon Musk, he builds a company, but never for that specific intention. Mm-hmm. Or he buys a company, but not for that intention.
Right.
Like with Tesla, yes, Tesla is a car manufacturer, but it's not really. It's a technology company.
Yeah.
So that's really what Tesla is. And anytime it can pivot to whatever, because it's a technology company. Mm-hmm. And he open sources everything. And the reason he open sources everything, because everybody can add to it. And he can just steal those ideas.
Makes it easier. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now I have more ideas to pull from.
He doesn't want to inhibit anybody's thinking. He thinks that he's never patented anything. He thinks it's a terrible idea because it inhibits growth. Mm-hmm. He thinks that if we constantly are growing, and I'm just like, this guy obviously he has $400 billion, or he's worth $400 billion. He obviously knows what's going on. If he's not worried about losing, technology or thoughts or ideas or whatever, why should we?
Why? Right.
Why should we? It does seem a bit odd, but even like Twitter, when he bought Twitter, I was like, this guy's bought $44,000 company that's worth about, or $44 billion company that's worth about half that at the time, if that. I mean, some of the estimates were saying $5 billion. Oh. But what did he do? He built Grok. Do you know what Grok is?
What's Grok?
It's AI. Mm. And he built it as the search engine in there, and it's taking over OpenAI and a lot of the other ones as the primary AI source. Now that Grok system, that was worth like nothing before, is worth like $20 billion, and it's built within the Twitter system.
Okay.
So yes, now Twitter, our estimates around 20, 25, 30 billion it's worth now, but now you got Grok worth about 20 billion. So now the whole Twitter thing that he bought for 44 billion is worth over 50 billion. In my head, and he saved free speech. In my head, I'm like, it was such a stupid move in the first place. And this guy is so many moves beyond me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he never buys or builds a company based on that idea that I think he's doing. It's always something else.
Something else.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Like the guy's incredible. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what level of genius, but I will say his ability to build a business, I don't even know if it's that. It's like relational. How he does, is incredible. The guy's incredible. I'm a big fan. I'd like to meet him. I think he seems pretty down to earth. There was a guy I met over in on the coast that rents his place out to Elon quite frequently.
Oh yeah.
When he's in town visiting, SpaceX. So
Maybe you should just be like, hey, why is Elon renting? Does he need to buy a investment property?
he won't
down
buy
here?
anything.
He won't buy.
Do you remember that? So he used to own a few mansions, and China and Mark Zuckerberg bought a bunch of land, and they were buying up all this land and all these $1 million properties. And he's like, this is messed up. He's like,
I'll never own anything unless it's for the business.
and so he has all these like apartments and condos inside his businesses, like secret little stuff that he could sleep inside the buildings where he works.
Yeah.
And then he has these like little small homes that are on the properties and stuff. And then he'll rent out spaces, but he will not buy unless it's for the business.
Well, he could just, use it when he's there and just Airbnb it. Maybe he'll find something super cool.
Yeah, but that was part of his thing, was that companies were buying up housing that was supposed to be for the people. And he doesn't believe in that type of stuff. And so it was interesting. Like, you should listen to him talk about it.
Yeah.
Because,
I'll have to find that.
yeah, worth $400 billion, not into yachts, not into that fancy life, not into anything.
Yeah.
And when we say he's worth $400 billion, he's not even, it's not that he's worth that amount of money. It's that he manages that amount of assets. $400 billion worth of managing assets.
Yeah.
Tesla, SpaceX, Grok, the Boring Group, or the Boring, I think this is the Boring Group. Do you know what the
Do they
Boring
help
Group
people
is?
sleep?
What's that?
Do they help people sleep?
No. They bore tunnels.
Oh,
It's
the other
the
Boring.
number one tunnel builder in the world right now. They took over the industry. And now that there's other countries that are starting to hire them to build underwater, or underground tunnels. Do you know what they did in Las Vegas?
What they do there?
The tunnels? You haven't heard of? There's tunnels that go from like this side of Vegas to this side. If you had to drive across Vegas,
Yeah.
it would take you an hour and a half. But with a Tesla, you can pay $2 or whatever and just pop in the auto drive, go into the boring tunnel, and there's crossroads and stuff where other tunnels go. But with the Tesla, they know where all of each other are. And so you can get from this side to this side instead of an hour and a half. It'll go like 20 minutes or 15 minutes. And so he's building all these tunnels, in different. Vegas was the thing that he was kind of experimenting on.
Okay.
But he wanted to on LA. He tried to on LA. In fact, he did one tunnel in LA, and he spent $10 million drilling it out, and they called him crazy. They were like, "You're crazy," or maybe $100 million or something. And he's like, "You're crazy. It's so stupid," or whatever. Now the city's trying to buy it for $1 billion. It's like,
Businesses.
I know. It's like, and so, anyways, but yeah, he's a genius. The boring company.
I think I might be checking out Teslas now.
I know. So Tesla, the company has gone down in stocks the last few weeks with what he's doing with the federal government and stuff.
It'll be back.
Yeah, it'll be back. But the fact is, he's not concerned about it. I'm not too concerned about Tesla, and I'm a big fan of Tesla at this point. Like I want a Tesla now. I never wanted a Tesla before, but the last few years, I'm just like, I don't think electric vehicles are going to save the environment. In fact, I think they're a bigger detriment to the environment.
Because like
The
creating
mining
them
and like all the battery stuff. I think it's horrible. It's created a modern day slave labor. China bought up all those mines up in Africa that have all the minerals that are used in batteries. And now, like, when you have a lease in that African land, you have the lease with one person, right? Like the ruler or whoever that is.
Yeah.
And then that person basically forces their people to work in those mines if they want food and stuff. So then you basically have slave labor because of because of the batteries, basically.
Yeah.
Modern day slave labor is because of batteries. Whenever I use my phone, I always feel bad. Trust me. Like, it's like, it is one of those things where it's like, and Teslas are the #1 electric vehicle. And so they're obviously using the most amount of the batteries and stuff. And so it's a huge problem. So for a long time, I was like, I cannot stand this stuff. But when you drive in a Tesla, the technology, just everything in there, it is so fun to drive. They spool, they accelerate like crazy. It's just something different. It feels like you're like a magnet type system. Have you driven a lot of Teslas?
I've driven 0 Teslas.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're missing out.
Yeah. Well, maybe I need to go do some advertising because Empire does have a Cybertruck.
They do. In fact,
Yeah.
John's offered for me to take it a number of times. I haven't driven a Cybertruck though. I would like to. Maybe we should go take that out.
We need to do an event.
We should do an event.
Then we have an excuse to drive the Cybertruck to the event for purposes of advertising. Now we can go drive the Cybertruck.
That's a good idea, actually.
Let's do it.
That's okay.
This summer.
Yeah. I am interested in those Cybertrucks. I mean, at first I thought they looked stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was just
Refrigerator-like.
yeah. What was it?
But honestly, I think like the way our Cybertruck looks, like the plain ones, I think are not as cool. But ours is like super wrapped.
Right.
And if you find the Cybertruck, you can get your appraisal covered by applying by, hey, and I saw the Cybertruck, doing
Is that really a thing?
It's really a thing. It's on the back
Okay.
there.
I didn't even know. Oh my gosh.
See, even more advertising built in. Yeah.
No, our Cybertruck is cool. And I will say you're right. The standard silver, no paint or what, I don't know if it's powder coat or paint or whatever it is on there, or if they're just wrapped. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I saw one today that was all white and it had white wheels on it.
Ooh.
It looked sick. And I've seen some beautiful like red ones, like maroon with like a really glazed paint, like really vibrant paint. And I was just like, that's a beautiful truck. Like, they do look good when they're actually like painted or they actually have decals or something on
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And ours does look good.
Oh, yeah.
I say ours and
It is ours.
okay.
Yeah, I'm on the insurance, I can drive it. You can get on the insurance, you can drive it.
That is
company
cool.
vehicle.
I know, that is the thing. Like John's said multiple times, bring the kids down and drive the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
I was like, This was before I had really closed the loan. So at first I was like, let me just close the loan.
Let me close the loan first. Get on the board.
So I deserve it.
So I deserve it. You close one loan, you can go 1 mile on the Cybertruck.
Yeah. That's how I felt. I mean, I was like, man, I have got to get something. It was just, for a while, last year was a little bit rough. It just was, I could get applications. I was just having a hard time converting. So
I think that's the theme of last year. Some of it was just conversion. People weren't ready for some reason or another, and now they're good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. I think a lot of it is being able to talk about loans, being able to just convert people like I just last year, or maybe I just didn't have the confidence or something to talk about stuff. And so it was harder to convert because who wants to deal with somebody that doesn't have the confidence?
Yeah. But
You know?
I gotta really say, and here's a trick that I like to use from time to time, is if I'm uncertain to answer right then and there, is it too soon for me to get back to you by the end of the day on this?
That's good. Yes, it is too soon. Wait 5 days.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Like normal. I'm used to these other loan officers who just don't get back to me for a week and just leave me hanging, but no.
It does happen.
Yeah,
It's a
I don't
major
know how to
problem.
deal with that.
Yeah, it is a major problem in the industry, in real estate too. I don't quite understand, but I think people are afraid of the phone.
Oh, it's scary.
They're afraid to make calls. I don't know what it is, but it does feel like that sometimes.
Calls, or I'll just text, or
Yeah, I can't stand texts. I mean, I like them because it can be simple and to the point, but most of the time it requires more conversation than that.
right. Yeah, I generally, if it's quick, or if I know this is going to be, I'm going to ask something and I need just one response back and I know it shouldn't prompt another question, text is fine. But if it's going to be like, I'm going to have to go back and forth, or they keep responding, I'm like, why can't we just be on a call? Do this in like 5 minutes?
Sometimes I'll leave it up to the other person. So like I'll send something to you and I don't know if you're busy or not. So like I'll just send a text and I'll be like, I'll just shoot a text. If he calls me back, we'll talk about it. If he sends me a text, then I'll, it'll probably be good enough.
I think it's the urgency tier list, right? An email, back to me by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Text when you see it.
Yeah.
Cool. Call. I think we got a little more urgent. Let's actually talk through this.
Yeah.
You know.
And multiple calls in a row, you better pick up.
Whew. Yeah.
So there's a fire. Somebody yelling fire in the theater right there.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I'm with you. That is actually a valid point. A lot of times when I send an email, though, I'll send a text saying, "Hey, I sent you an email," because people don't really check their
People don't
emails.
check their emails. No,
you know.
like, did you see this in the email?
Yeah, and they have like a lot of people have like 5 or 6 emails. I can't tell you how many times they're like, "Oh, well, oh, sorry, I didn't see that. I don't check that email very much." Why don't you give me an email address that you check all the time?
Yeah.
It's like,
That's what I do. I got 3. I got spam, and then I have personal, and then I have business
yeah,
for email.
that's pretty much what I have. Like the spam one is what I sign everything up on and stuff, so that I don't get the crap. And then I got my
Don't
personal
email
one.
me here. I will never see it.
Yeah, yeah, I have that. I have that one too. And I'm not even gonna give that email address out, but I've had it for years, and it just
My first email address.
yeah. And then I have my personal one that has turned into some business, but I feel like it. When you're going into business, it's very difficult to just only do business on your business one.
Yeah.
So, actually, yeah, I got 4 because then I got my real estate one, and then I got my mortgage one. So,
Yep. There you go. Double business.
yeah, it's too much.
Too much.
That's why I don't have very much.
It's too many emails not to check.
Well, it adds on to everything else. It's like, how many media sources do you need? Oh, I need Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I need Snapchat. I need this, that. Somebody tried to convince me to do Snapchat, so I got a Snapchat, and every great while I'll do a few snaps and stuff, and I'll get into it for like a couple days and stuff, and then I'll forget about it for like months.
Yeah.
It's like I won't ever remember. And then Instagram, I just don't even have. Like I have one from when I was in real estate in Idaho, but I haven't even logged into that thing in 8 years.
Oh.
So don't try to find me on Instagram. Facebook's the best way to find me.
Yeah. It always is like the different demographics are tied to different medias.
Yeah.
But I think when you kind of look at some of the home buying metrics right now, I think the biggest group who are buying homes are millennials. So, but they're into, we're into everything. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. So that's why you kind of have to hit all facets sometimes to just promote yourself a little bit that way.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I mean, I think you're true. I mean, I think you're right, but I do think you're wrong in the fact that I don't think millennials are the biggest buying group right now.
Who's buying now?
The ones below us, is that Gen Z or is that?
No, Gen Z is like the
Gen X
the
or
newest
not Gen X? Gen X is before us. What's after us?
I'm not sure.
It's after millennials.
Is it Gen Z after millennials? I don't think it's because Gen Z are like
Darn it!
to the Google.
What is okay? So
What do you call it? Age generationals?
generations.
Yeah,
what are they called?
Generation titles. Yeah.
So baby boomer, Generation X, millennials, Gen Z.
Oh, it is Gen Z.
And then Gen Alpha, which is 2010 to 2024, which is basically all my kids.
Oh, start now.
So
it is Gen Z.
So Gen Z. So it is millennials that I think are buying the most, but Gen Z is interesting because they are making way more money than millennials. Like coming out of
college and
coming out of high school, even the ability to make money on YouTube, like how they're reaching out with AI. They're leading the race in AI. Millennials are not. And so all those things that are money-making activities, they are quickly surpassing millennials.
Yeah.
And millennials are interesting because we're kind of a lazy group, apparently.
Oh.
I don't know. See, I don't really consider myself a millennial, even though they say millennials are 1981 to 96. I was 82. But between Gen X and millennials, there's a thing between 78 and 84 where they call Zennials. And it's a mix between a millennial and a Gen X. And that's where I fall. And I do think I fall within those people because so much happened. That's when the internet came out. So much happened during that time that there was just a lot of change. And we were kind of on the brink of both worlds, you know? And so Zennials, we have the lowest suicide rate, but we also don't we're not stellar succeeders either.
Oh.
You know, and millennials are even worse. So they fall down. They're not very successful group. So I think that's where, you know, parents stopped disciplining their kids.
I was over disciplined. Now I don't want to discipline.
I think that was a problem though. You know, and I think so anyways, and that is kind of our generation. But I do think that Gen X or Gen Z is taking things a little bit more seriously, and they're starting to make some money. So it's interesting. But anyways, I gotta keep this one short because I got an appointment.
Ooh.
But thank you, Trent.
Thanks, Trevor.
And we will catch you guys next
See you in
time.
the next one.